And then from day one, we had to start educating the parents of why their kids were coming home with this little ball. Okay. So parents are the focus of our work. And what happens is this also helps to develop a better family relationship of appreciation, gratitude, respect, admiration, love. It's got lots of positives. So we go around the world, and this is in Asia because I'm based in Asia, and we conduct these big parent orientations of called Football Starts at Home ignition events. Ignition because we're trying to ignite the passion and inspire parents to move into action. Now I can tell you this because I work around the world. The unfortunate thing is that football alone cannot stand on its own 2 feet. I cannot go into a room like this that you're looking at and talk only about football and expect that these 700 parents are going to just all of a sudden want their kids to start playing football. Never happened. Because out here in Asia and in many other countries in the world, many families look at football and sports as a distraction to education. So they limit the amount that they're active. So we flip it upside down. And I can go into a room like I do, and I can tell parents that if you're limiting your child's physical activity, you're actually putting them at a disadvantage because we now have the research, we have the data that shows kids that are physically active, it supercharges the brain, it creates better thinkers, kids that have better concentration, better focused attention, better memory, less disciplinary problems in schools. So it's a win-win. So that's why parents need to understand the role that sports play, and we use obviously football. When I went to India, everybody was afraid nobody was going to show up. And look what happened in the room. Okay, we had a massive, massive interest from our program. So what we do is we basically try to get in front of as many parents as possible. This is me in Australia. This is me in Shanghai. And if you have Paul Pogba from France or Manchester United show up, it'll supercharge your event. So that's how you use the stars to attract the media so that we can get our message out to not just, tens of hundreds of people, but thousands or hundreds of thousands or millions of people. This is me. I also work with brands, basically convincing brands to invest in these kind of strategies, because one of my core values in my business has always been is that the end user, the parents, that they're the beneficiary of this information, they shouldn't have to pay anything. So it should cost us zero, this knowledge. So basically, in order to get it out to the masses, we need to work with brands, we need to work with governments, we need to work with media partners. So that's what we do. You can have the best message in the world, but if you don't have the connectivity, it will die a quick death. So we go out, we work in schools, we work with parents. Here again, we also even film TV shows. So this is a big project I did for China, where I filmed a television series. Now, this doesn't have to be a 30-minute to an hour TV series. I'm going to show you a glimpse of it. 365 days focused, and it broadcast on Chinese educational TV, which has on average about 100 million eyeballs per day. And I brought David Beckham into the project because I work with Adidas. David works with Adidas, and he was coming over to China to do some events with me. So I thought, well, when we're designing the strategy for the TV show, I'd heard a rumor that David Beckham was a little bit better looking than Tom Byer. So I thought, well, why don't we put him on in the beginning of the show so that we can attract all the moms and the dads. So this corner ran 365 days, okay, at 6:15 in the evening every night to 6:18. So only 3 minutes, only 3 minutes, but it was powerful. So I'll show you a little glimpse of it. Here it is.
Welcome to the Youth Football Skills episodes to be shown on CETV every day. Football is a fantastic sport which requires strength, speed, brains and teamwork. I started to learn football when I was very young. It really is the best time to start. So my advice to you is to take your time to build a solid foundation with basic skills. If you practice every day, you will get better. Best wishes to China's future football stars.
大家好，我是汤姆·拜尔，欢迎来到中国教育电视台。汤姆·拜尔，世界著名足球青训专家，在日本开展青训25年，创办足校100多所，培养学员50万人，包括本田圭佑、香川真司、宫坚明等足球巨星，被誉为足球青训教父。那么接下来的一段时间。
So I won't bore you with the whole corner, but I'll fast forward a little bit. So this is for a little bit of the older age group, 6 and on, but it's focusing on the importance of technical development and empowering children to practice on their own, and also gave a body of content for physical education teachers to work with, because the Chinese government created a policy making football mandatory in 50,000 schools. So basically what we did was we provided the curriculum, all of the technical stuff. And then towards the end of it, you can see here, we're using the players, the Ronaldos, Neymar, the players to inspire the kids, right? So that was what we did in China. Here, I did something similarly in Australia. So this is me talking at a conference. Now, these are not all football coaches. These are the stakeholders in the game. These are the people that are controlling the media. They're controlling the brands. They're controlling the regulatory, whether they're federations, associations, local, national, state. So everybody needs to understand, what is this football starts at home, so that we can create a new culture of understanding in the community. So what I did was I filmed this for a broadcaster called Optus, which was a World Cup rights holder for the last World Cup 2018. They came to me and they said, can you link the stars to football starts at home? I said, I sure can, because I already done it. I did the research. So again, Messi, Ronaldo, Suarez, Neymar, and then here, basically I created, this is just 9 of them, but we have 11. And so basically this was the common denominator. All these players started engaging with the ball between the ages of 2 and 5, all credit their fathers and their mothers with their love and success for the game. So then we tell this story through these little pieces of clips of content. So the first one's going to be Eden Hazard. So watch this. It's a short little corner.
Next up, on Tom Byer's Ultimate World Cup 11, Eden Hazard plays his club football at Chelsea and represents Belgium. Hazard's mom and dad were both professional players, and he was one of 4 brothers. The other 3 brothers, as well, became professional players. These guys were lucky because they lived so close to a football pitch that they were often seen climbing over the fence so that they could practice. He is the best at turning and changing direction on a dime. Okay, guys, we're gonna practice turning, changing direction with both the outside and the inside of our foot. Okay, just watch. Outside, inside. You notice I'm stretching to reach for the ball. Stretching. Good.
So again, won't bore you with the whole thing, but just to show you how we use the stars. We use stars to inspire. Here, this is probably Asia's best player today, who plays for Spurs. Many of you know, Son Heung-min. And basically, when you look and you study and you research these players, you'll find the story. I know what to look for, so that's why I figure out what these are. Many people want to know, with the star player, when did he first show up to his first academy? But I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in, when did he get introduced to a ball, and how did that process take place? So his father basically started working with him and his brother when they were just little tiny young kids, okay? And this player didn't even play on a formalized, organized team until he was a teenager, okay? So he worked purely on technical skills. Here's another player, Takumi Minamino. He plays at Liverpool, but now he was lent out. I think he's playing at Sunderland or Southampton, I think. He started playing between the ages of 1 and 3. This is a boy that I know his story quite well, because he actually belonged to our football schools when he was 6. From 6 to 12, we had him in our schools. He's probably one of the top national team players in Japan today. But again, you can read the story. Practiced together with his dad and his older brother, Kenta. The trio would be back then, kick the ball enthusiastic inside the family home and garden, okay? Same thing, another one of our players, Kubo Takefusa, who's one of our probably our best player who plays, he signed for Real Madrid, lent out to another team. Another story started between the ages of 2 and 3. I'm sure that there's stories like this with Caribbean players as well, but they need to be studied. They need to be used as symbols and models to inspire this current generation of parents. In my own country, America, Clint Dempsey, same thing on the left hand side. At home, Dempsey would convince his mother that he should be allowed to play with the ball in the house. On the right hand side, the flicks, the tricks, the unpredictability, the flair, it all started at home for Dempsey. Same thing with Landon Donovan. His mother was asked in an interview that I found, when did you buy Landon his first ball? No, there's no need getting him a ball. His elder brother was all around the habit of playing soccer with the balls all around the house. Same thing with Christian Pulisic. So this is the part of again, the football world hasn't caught up to what science already knows, and that is that the age for skill development and skill acquisition happens much earlier than they expected. So this is a little kind of cool, little animated kind of illustration that one of my buddies, who's an illustrator, wrote. The culture piece on the left, that symbolizes the football starts at home, and it's going to always lead the pack. But the problem is that the federations and the countries are focused on coaching, curriculums, manuals, license, experts, facilities, finance, and those are all important. Don't get me wrong, but this is the reality. The feather, representing the football starts at home culture, it always outweighs the rest. Always outweighs the rest. And the reality is that a strategy in the absence of culture, it doesn't seem to get you far. So how we put this into practice is through programs, for example, with the Houston Dynamo. Okay, so I work with the Houston Dynamo. Like I said, we have a whole research department behind it, the university, which helps us. We work with the university. We work with some of the different school districts, like one of the best in the United States called KIPP Charter Schools. They're one of our partners down in Houston. And when I signed on to the program and the project in Houston, I required that everybody in the club needs to sit down and spend an hour or more with me so that they understand what the Football Starts at Home project is about. And this is Tab Ramos, one of our most celebrated players in the history of U.S. soccer, who's the head coach of the Houston Dynamo. I think he's played in 2 or 3 World Cup tournaments. I was told at first, they said, and I know Tab from over the years, I was told I only have 30 minutes with them, him and the head coach and the coaching staff. Well, 2.5 hours later, we finished our meeting because they were so fascinated by the presentation and so supportive of it. So here we go around in Houston, we go around to the different stakeholders, the ecosystem, we put our program in front, we work in schools. Here I am going again, every time I go into Houston. This is to show you the seriousness. This is at the BBV Stadium where the Dynamo play. This is their fan appreciation day. And you can show that the extent that they promote the program, because look what's up on the scoreboard. Soccer starts at home, right there. So it's at the center of everything. When I go through to the places where I work, the media plays a massive role. So I'm on every morning show. I'm on all the news shows, the breakfast shows, just all of them, getting our word out. Soccer starts at home, whether it's on social media, working with Tom Byer in one of the most exciting initiatives, our hope to inspire and sustain culture development in Houston families, schools, and soccer clubs to first improve soccer at the entry level, then the competitive level, then the elite levels. So people need to understand that. So we go through, we have a very kind of vigorous kind of, this is me presenting to the director of education for the city of Houston, by the mayor's office, invited in. And from this one presentation, they turned around and you see that map, that colorful map right there, they turned around and gave us access to 17 school districts to start working with. So then we started to put a robust program in place with the schools. Houston Independent School District, Fort Bend Independent School District, Spring School District, Avance School District, KIPP Charter School Districts. So the connectivity started to basically spread out.
Expand.
And so here You can see we hold these events online. We held an online event for 1 week for 7 days for 30 minutes in the morning. We had 54,000 families sign on to participate in Houston. So you can see the connectivity. Then we have a very robust online program, Soccer Starts at Home. And you can go on there. It's free of charge. It doesn't cost anything. You can click on all the buttons. This is a little glimpse of our program at the schools where kids are taking these little ball mastery breaks. We kind of call them brain mastery breaks as well, because we find out now that after the kids conduct these practices, they sit down, they're more focused, better attention span, less disciplinary problems. So that's part of it. So I'm going to stop my sharing right now and come up for a little air.